Okay, here we go. Here we go again with another Hermes Lite 2 build. All right, this is going to be as simple as it gets. There's no add-ons or anything. There's not going to be any soldering. So it's as simple as it gets on the ground floor. Okay, and by the way, I said it before, and I'll say it again, I am not a Hermes expert. I do not have all the answers. My advice to anybody out there who wants to learn more about this, watch multiple videos. There's a lot of guys on YouTube that do videos on the Hermes Lite, the Hermes Lite 2 Plus, and all that stuff, but watch multiple sources. Remember, like I said, I do not have all the answers. All right, so let's go through this, the bare bones, bare minimum setup here. Okay, here's a Hermes Lite. Okay, now the website says Hermes Lite 2. The box says Hermes Lite. Okay, just to be aware of that. Okay, so the circuit board right there, there's the actual radio. That costs $269. Okay, moving on here. We have the Hermes Lite 2 N2 ADR board, circuit board. All right, that's going to cost you $52.80. Moving on to the enclosure, the Hermes Lite 2 enclosure, $16.90. Okay, with shipping and handling, it was $361. Yeah, shipping, handling, tax, $361.30. And there was a $10.84 international purchase. So grand total, shipped to my door, just got here today, cost me $372.14. So with that price, you get a fully functioning HF radio. Pretty cool. It's QRP, low output, but yeah, for that price, you have a fully functioning HF radio. All right, so let's get this unpacked here, one by one, and I'll show you what's inside the box. All right, let's get this rolling. All right, here we are. Everything's unpackaged. Here's the main circuit board for the Hermes Lite 2. And moving on to here, here's what you get in the N2 ADR box. There's that circuit board. You get this little tiny little header, which we're going to be joining two circuit boards together. That's all that is. Okay, going on to the enclosure here. Here's the bottom. It's got the hole for the attachment and the heatsink. Right there, that's the bottom of the box, or the enclosure. Here's the top. It comes with the front plate and the back plate. It comes with a bunch of little nuts and bolts and screws. These 8 will be attaching the front and back plate. It comes with 2 of these nuts and bolts. We're going to be using one. And here's a heat sink. We're only be using one to attach the heat sink. I'll try to show you this in a minute here. I'll try to show you all the steps along the way. Somebody asked about that. It's just I'm doing my best. I don't have somebody to hold my camera for me, and I don't have cell phone holders to get the proper angle and everything. But I'll do my best to show how everything slides in and how everything snaps together. Like I said, there's nothing to this. It's just really, really simple. So what I'm going to do here, first here's where we're going to be attaching the heat sink. I'll try to show you that in a minute. I have some sandpaper, real fine grit sandpaper. We're going to sand away some of this paint right here to get good thermal contact with the metal chassis. Okay, I'll get that cleaned up with alcohol, but all right, let me pause this, and yeah, I'll do my best to show every little step of the way here, how it all slides and snaps together. Okay, we got the paint all sanded off the bottom of the case. By the way, they have some good quality paint on this little case here. It took me a while to rub that away, but I know. So there's that. We'll get back to that. Okay, so here's the main circuit board. Let me flip this back over. Like I'm trying to do the best I can with one hand here. Okay, there's a circuit board. I'm gonna tell you something about the heat sink. It's very, very critical. Okay, so we're gonna flip this over. I'm gonna flip that over. Okay, so here's where the heat sink's gonna go. It is very, very critical you place this heat sink the proper way. Okay, I'm gonna get down here like this. See how it's beveled on one end? See if you can see that. You want that beveled end, the small end, down on the circuit board. Because if you do the wide end, the top part on the circuit board, you could possibly crush some surface mount components. Okay, if we can do this here, I'm just gonna place this. Yeah, put it right here. I'm just gonna leave that there for a second. Okay, see how it looks like that? That's the way you want it. That small end down on the circuit board. Very critical. I watched a couple of videos, guys, they did it the wrong way. They put it, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to mix you guys up, but put that wide end down and crush some surface mount components. All right, so maybe I'll try to prop my camera up here and try to get this slid in. It's going to slide into these little rails in the case here. But and at the same time, we have to get the bolt through, and the heat sink's going to slide along with it. But let me get this lubed up. Let me get my heat sink compound put on here, and here, real thin layer. Get that all compounded up, and I'll be back. Okay, here we go. I got a little bit of a heatsink compound, just real light film, put on the case. Another on this circuit board, real light film where the heatsink's going to go, and real light film on the. You probably can't even see it on camera here. A little bit real light film on both sides of the heatsink. I kind of already started this into the chassis here, and there's two rails here. I'll try to get this on camera here. Let me try to zoom in here. There's two sets of rails. You can see there's the top side. By the way, this is the bottom. Obviously, that's where the hole is. There's two rails right here. They have this top rail and this bottom rail. You want the bottom rail. That's where the circuit board is going to slide in. Okay, so now I have to get the heatsink and kind of slide the heatsink along at the same time we're sliding the board in, because because there's going to be a screw. That screw that goes down through here is going to go through the heatsink. But it is going to be hard for me to do on camera here, because I'll try to prop up my phone on my phone and try to do this. But the whole assembly is going to slide into place. And once it gets through so far, that's when the screw will fall down into that hole. On the other side, we can attach a bolt. But all right, let me figure out how I'm going to do this on camera here. I'll be back. All right, I tried. I can't get my cell phone to prop up a certain way to show you this, how to do it, step by step. But yeah, and I don't have anybody here to help hold my cell phone when I film this. So what I did was I can do something a little bit different on this build. Sometimes on the builds before, I would take a small screwdriver, put it through the circuit board, through the heatsink, and then kind of got it through. But this time, I'm gonna do a little bit different. I'm going to use the screw going down. All right, so I kind of got it jimmied in there in place. Remember that heatsink is positioned the proper way, and if you can see that, how I showed you at the beginning of the video. Very, very important. Okay, so what we're gonna do here. Now the screw is gonna hit. I'm gonna start sliding this forward a little bit. And that's at some point hard to do with one. The screw's gonna hit right there against the chassis. So I'm going to take that little screw, push up just a little bit so we get a little clearance. We're going to keep sliding this. If I can do this in one hand, I can't do it with one hand here. But here, okay, I stopped my camera. I'm going to pull that screw through so the whole thing will continue to slide. And eventually, I'll keep putting, once that screw is lifted up enough, I can start sliding this through. I'll keep a little bit of down pressure on there until I feel it fall through that hole in the case. Then on the other end, I'll get the little nut and put it on there. All right, hold on, I'll be back. Alright, so I push that screw up there just a little bit so I can start sliding this so that screw won't catch on the case. So we're going to have to keep sliding this. Slide it through very gently. Slide it through. And then of course, yeah, I'll have to stop again and I have to put some down pressure on here. If kind of feel right when it's going to drop through that. Oh, there we go. It's sticking out the other end there. And there it is. I'm going to put the little nut on there. All right, now it's gonna be in place. All right, next step here, I'll be back. Okay, got the screw that dropped down through. I put the little nut on there. I tightened that up. I didn't, really drive it in, a little bit more than a finger tight, but that is in there. Okay, next step is the N2 ADR board. I flip this around. Again, we're gonna be using the bottom rail. And once again, if I can do this with one hand here, we're gonna put it in just like this. If I can do this with one hand here, get this slide. Oh, yep, it's sliding into place. Slide that in. See those headers line up, just like so. Now we're going to take this little header board here. We're just going to line all the pins up, just like that. We push down gentle. I got to make sure these all line up. I don't want to bend any pins. Make sure it's lined up there. All right, let me put my camera down. I want to do this with two hands here. I don't want to bend these pins. I'll be right back. Okay, that was good. I didn't bend any pins. I just had to, put some firm pressure on there and slid that down. That's it. We just basically snap some Legos together. Okay, next step, we can get the top part of the case put on. Okay, we're gonna get the back plate. It's gonna go on there like that. I'll get the screws put in. 4 screws on the corner. Getting those little tiny screws right there. Of course, it's gonna fall off here. Hold on, here, we spin this. And its back plate just lays right like that. Like that. One-handed here. Yep. And then I'll get the 4 screws and put it in there. And that ends the build. That's it. And then we'll get it over, take it over, and get this thing plugged in and powered up. Okay, there she is, all buttoned up. And as you can see, there was no soldering. We're just snapping some pieces together. And I apologize. I tried to get this all on camera, showing every tiny little screw going and everything, but I don't have anybody to help me up here film this stuff, so I did my best. Like I said, there's a lot of other guys that do YouTube videos on these, showing step by step how to put every little piece together, but so I apologize about that. I can't get the front plate on. Back plate, as you can see. I'm getting the front plate on. It didn't quite line up, the Ethernet port. It didn't. If they would have made the hole a little bit bigger in the front plate, it would have been a little bit easier, so I had to jimmy that on there. Not too shabby. From the bottom of it. Alright, let's take this over to my mini computer and fire that up and get this thing turned on. Alright, let's go on over there. Alright, got her all hooked up. And she came to life, thank God. But there's just 3 little connections you got to do in the back for the antenna jack. Has a SMA jack on the back, so you'll need an SMA to SO239 adapter. That way you can get your coax plugged in. Right now my coax is plugged into it. We're going to be transmitting here in a second. It's going down to that dummy load right down there. Okay, second connection is the Ethernet jack. Just have a, I can't remember what cat cable this is, but the Ethernet cable plugs into the Ethernet port and goes into my little mini computer. That's just a, you know, not super cheap, but just a, well, yeah, compared to a relatively cheap little mini computer. You don't need much to run Thetis and use a Hermes Lite on, you know, with the computer. Don't need much. And of course the power supply. Now the Hermes Lite, without that companion board, you do not have a power switch. So when you have the power supply hooked in, as soon as you turn the power supply on, that turns on the radio. No big deal. And like I said, it's all bare bones. I didn't do the pure signal mod, no soldering whatsoever. But there it is. She's all hooked up. So let me dim the lights here. We're going to turn this on. Prove it. I know right now, since it does not have the headphone jack, that's one of the things I really like about that companion board. But if you get that companion board, you're going to need to do some soldering. That has a headphone jack on it, but this one doesn't. So I have the Thetis receive to come up my headphone jack on my little mini computer. That's in the computer settings going out to my little Bugami boom box. But you'll hear that in a second, just proving to you that it is receiving. But all right, let me dim these lights here, and then yeah, we'll go from here. Okay, the lights are dim, nice and cozy in here. You can see she's alive. Okay, we go ahead and I've already got Thetis for the HL2 up on here. I'm going to go ahead and power this on. And turn the volume up just to prove she's working. Here it is. Of course, it's in one dummy load. You're just going to hear the background noise, hear the noise floor. All right, and consider this a part 1. I'll do a part 2, and I'm going to show you all the how I connect all the audio, get the microphone, and a little interface box to communicate through Cakewalk, and Cakewalk to communicate with Thetis. So that'll be in part 2. So this is just proving this will work in just a build video. Okay, let's go into Cakewalk here. Let's see right here. It's right. I forgot. This is my recording I did from the last Hermes video. Me babbling about the my little bombs box and my $20 microphone. So let's go ahead and we're going to play this in Cakewalk. I'm going to transmit it. So right now I have my station A on and receive on the same frequency that the Hermes network going to be transmitting. There's my on right there. That's station A. Here we go. So I'm going to turn the volume up right here. I'm receiving. Okay, let's transmit and receive 10kc. Why not? Why not? We're into a dummy load. So I'm going to go ahead and click play in Cakewalk and play this little vocal track right here. Okay, that is playing. I'm going to go down to the Hermes Lite. We're going to key up. And where are we? Here we go. Keying up here. $20 microphone. All right, then I'm running into the BOMG. Okay, I'll just say phonetically. Bravo, Oscar, Mike, Golf, Echo, the BOMG. or the model number is Bravo Mike Golf -22M BMG 22M. She's transmitting.
The microphone was $20, and this little interface box was
I'm only good about like a watt right now.
$32.90. So, all right, in Cakewalk here, what you're hearing is I'm transmitting on my station B, the Hermes Lite 2 Plus into a dummy load. And what you're seeing on the screen is my station A just to receive on the same frequency. And it's picking up just enough of it. That dummy load's radiating just enough so my station A is able to pick it up. But is that little starter kit profile that I whipped together to email people, and I had to modify just a little bit from my RE320 microphone and going to this microphone. There is quite the difference, so I had to do some boosts and cuts, mostly cuts. For this cheap $20 microphone, but yeah, it's just goes to show you how inexpensive it can be just to try things out. You're not going to sink a lot of money into everything and spend thousands of dollars and realize it's not for you, and then you're stuck with all this expensive equipment.
I'm gonna stop this.
All right, so that's the end of this recording, and I'll get.
All right, there we go. Let me turn this thing down here. A lot of hissing going on. A lot of snakes around here. Okay, so I'll come back with the part 2, hopefully sometime soon. I'm going to show you the settings I have in Thetis and in Cakewalk to get everything to communicate, and you can do some transmitting. But there it was. Hope you enjoyed that, and I wish, like I said, I had a little bit of help up here, help me film, getting stuff on camera, but I don't. But all right, guys, I'll catch you later. KP68, free and clear.